Let's kick butt on classic restos.
Just looks like an old GT, doesn't it? Well, I'll tell you something. This is one of the most expensive cars here on the block. And you want to know why? It's not just a GT, it's a GT HO. Those last two syllables on the compliance plate makes all the difference. Have a go at this. An unrestored example of an original GT HO. And to tell us more, we'll talk to Bob.
Well, Fletch, this is a Phase 2 GTHO, largely unrestored condition. The GTHO was actually built for one purpose, and that was to win at Bathurst in 1970. So for 1970, they brought out a 351 Cleveland 4V motor. The car, it was built in the 7th month 70, and subsequently was the most successful car, the campaign to Bathurst, because Alan Moffat won in 1970 in a Phase 2, and it was undefeated. So it's got a bit of class, and the first HO to win Bathurst ever. So
a lot of history here, Bob, and the thing too which is remarkable is it is unmolested. This is an original car, and I can't impress that upon the people enough to think that it's lasted this long and no one's screwed around with it.
Yeah, it's got a few battle scars and largely original. It's never been fully restored, and I think there's some merit in keeping it as an original car.
You just took my next question away, so you're going to keep it like this?
Well, look, I want to actually maintain the car and make sure it's a presentable stage, but I don't think I would undertake a full restoration of this particular vehicle.
Well, looking around, mate, what's the story on the carby there?
Well, the carby is quite a unique item. It was actually a carby that was used on the Boss 302 Mustangs, and the same carby was used on our own Australian Phase 2s.
What's the list number on that one?
She's a C9ZF950J, list 4511. This particular carby is a 750 CFN carby, and a very rare item, and as I said, used only on the Boss 302 and the Phase 2 GTHOs.
Okay, well, we've seen a GTHO that's unrestored. Let's go and take a look at one now that has been restored.
Thanks, Fletch.
Harry, welcome to Classic Restos, my friend.
How you going? Good to see you, Fletch.
Mate, the GT Ho Christmas edition, mate, I tell you what, it fits the format perfectly.
Yeah, it does, mate, and it's a good day for it out here today. The GT Club have got us out here. The weather's held out, so we've got no rain and not too much heat, so it's good for the old girls because they don't like the heat too much. So let's get out here.
Your car speaks for itself. How long has it been restored?
Well, the car was restored probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and was really restored as a daily driver. It was never restored with the intention of winning any concourse shows. You can tend to get overboard with these cars and get right down a nut and bolt and the correct coloured spring and what have you. And there are cars that are worthy of that, but this car was restored with the purpose of driving it as regularly as possible. Doesn't overheat, does the right things, all the bearings are right, the engine and gearbox and diff were reconditioned, all the springs work, and we enjoy it regularly. Get out there with the family and use it rather than lock it away.
There's lots of GTs on the road and they're all great cars, but as I just alluded to earlier in the last piece, those last two syllables on the end of HO is a big difference.
Yeah, look, I guess, GTHOs are the sort of cars our generation blokes watch go around the track, and the Alan Moffats of the world sort of doing their thing. And now we're sort of all in our 40s and 50s, and apparently we've got a little bit of equity in our home, so everybody goes out and buys the dream, and the HO was very much the pinnacle of Australian motoring. It means a lot to the Aussie bloke, because we, as kids, watched them go around the track.
You wonder where are they now?
You wonder, and as a kid, what made an impression on me was where I grew up in sort of the inner west there. It was Darren's old man down the road that had a brand new green GT in the day, and I thought to myself, geez, look at that. Darren's a bit of a hero. Look what his old man drives. And that made an impression. That was sort of in the late 70s, and I thought, shit, I could have one of those one day. Pardon the French. And so you work towards and off you go.
I hear one more time a bloke coming up saying, I used to have one of these.
Oh, yeah, well, the other one is when you're at the service station, the question is always, mate, is she real? Is she real? That's it, yeah.
That takes us into another category too, with cleaning of these cars. And look, if that's done right too, it still respects the mark, doesn't it? It keeps the tradition alive.
Absolutely. Look, at these cars, these particular models, they made 300. They reckon there's probably about 100 or 120 of them left. There are tens of thousands of blokes out there that aspire to driving one or enjoying one. The replicas, if you like, or the mock-ups or however you want to call them. I mean, some of them are built to the quality above and beyond the way Ford ever built them. So, some of them are exceptional cars, and they are very, very good cars. The good thing about building a replica too, of course, is you can build it to whatever colour and specification you want as far as trim and colour combination, whereas these genuine cars, you tend to leave the original colour and trim combo because that's its real value, you see.
Absolutely, you can't molest these things, you just got to leave them alone. Mate, for the people watching that are interested in terms of the value of the car, what sort of figure and upwards would you have to be offered before you'd be thinking of letting this girl go?
Oh, look, these cars, only 5 years ago, you were sort of talking around about the 80 to 100 grand, and we've seen steadily climb to, you know, over $700,000 and $800,000 sales in recent times. Of course, the economic climate's brought them back a little bit. This particular car, I wouldn't look at anything, you know, under the 500 grand mark as far as an offer goes. It's not about that all the time. Some cars are just keepers, and this particular vehicle, sure, it'd be nice to get the money, but I also enjoy driving it from day to day.
I'll have to speak to my sponsors before I make you an offer. Yeah, at the end of the day too, like if you have a restored car and the effort and passion you put into it, look, if the thing's worth 50 grand or 500 grand, I mean, really at the end of the day, I guess while you own the car, that's really not important. You've got to savour the moment of enjoying the vehicle, don't you?
And it makes no difference, you know, a man's charity is his own, whether it's worth 5 grand or 500 grand. They appreciate them for what they are, and we appreciate and respect the fact too. So the value is one thing, and the market dictates what particular models are worth. But as far as what something's worth to the individual, that's a personal thing, you know. And the first car I bought, I paid $70 for. It was an old Mark I Escort, had a hole in the floor, and as far as I was concerned, it was the best car on the road. And for the time, it was, you know. So each to their own.
Thanks for being on the show, Harry.
Good on you, mate. All the best.
Hello. I used to be a rough and tough, hardened mechanic. And I've got a mechanical tip for you. Yeah, mechanical tip here, mechanical tip there. I'll give you a mechanical tip. Check this out. If you've got some alloy and you want to rejuvenate it, bring back the shine, like this down in here. It could be like a fuel cock, a heater cock. So what you do, you get your cock and put it in tomato sauce. And the acid in the tomato sauce actually eats away at the alloy and rejuvenates the shine. So remember that. Put your cock in some sauce, okay, and in the end, you'll have a really shiny cock with a great flavour. Well, there you go, the end of the Christmas edition of Classic Restos here at Cataract Dam with an absolutely fantastic group of people at the GT Car Club. From myself and everyone here, Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching Classic Restos. If you want to see your car on the show, go to classicrestos.com.au. In the meantime, drive safe, resto your ride and get it on the show.